Hello, my name is Matt and I teach tennis here at the YMCA. Today I'd like to show you some different ways to keep your body moving and learn a little bit about tennis. So I want to walk you through some of the things that we do in our tennis classes that people would take when they're just learning and starting out and learning how to play the game. One of the things that we focus on is footwork. So it's not all just about hitting a tennis ball and playing a game. If you can't move your feet, then you can't get to some of the balls that people hit to you. So we always start off our tennis classes with some movement. Those can be any space that you want. It could be across your living room or in a backyard or in the driveway, but find somewhere safe. And for today, I've grabbed these two baskets, and these are going to be my start and finish lines for what we would do. So we'd start with just a little jogging and backpedaling. So I'd start at one, come across, and do a few of these back and forth, and then do some side shuffling, and then do some skips. So I do some skipping, but I want to do high knee skips. I want to be jumping and as explosive as I can. So I'm going to jump and get my knees really high up to my chest. And when you're doing these, it's important to make sure, again, that you're doing it in a safe area. So another one is a figure eight. So I've taken these two hoppers. These are the baskets that we use to pick up tennis balls. And you can use anything. You could use some branches that you find in the yard. You can use buckets or cones that might be at your house. Really anything you want. And we do a figure eight where we stay sideways and we try and go around the obstacles with a lot of little steps. Because tennis is really based on a lot of little small steps. It's not all just sprinting and running as fast as you can. So when we do these things, we're trying to get our body loose and our muscles ready to play a sport. So anything that you can come up with or that you'd like to try and do, it's useful as long as it involves some movement, okay? So then we get a tennis ball. So everybody should have gotten in their bag a red tennis ball. We use these red tennis balls for a tennis court size that is, you can see from that line over there all the way over to that line across the court. So when we're hitting, we don't need to hit it hard, and these balls are designed to not travel through the air so fast. They also are great for kids under 10 years old because they don't bounce very high. So if we grabbed a regular yellow tennis ball that didn't have this red dot on it and we slammed it on the ground, it would bounce really high and be hard to control. So these balls are designed for us to control, and they're a little softer. They're a little easier on garage doors, and they can be played with by a number of different ability levels, not just beginners. So when we're learning how to deal with this tennis ball, we do a couple of things that require us to learn how to control the ball, both sending it and receiving it. So one of the things that we think about is bouncing. In tennis, we let the ball bounce a majority of the time. So we toss this ball up and yell bounce when it bounces on the ground. Bounce, bounce. And then I can say hit when I catch the ball. Bounce, hit. Bounce, hit. Bounce, hit. And I can toss this as high as I want. I can toss this back and forth to a friend if I want. And we can both take turns saying bounce and hit. But the key is to learn how to let the ball bounce before you catch it, okay? So now we get into some things that, require a wall or a partner, somewhere safe that you can toss the ball back and forth, or if you have a wall, you can do this on your own. So we call these elephant tosses. So I'm going to face the wall, I'm going to turn my body to the side, and I'm going to toss using both of my hands over to the wall and catch it. Toss and catch. I don't want to just toss with one arm, because in tennis we have to learn how to rotate our upper body when we swing our tennis racket. So we work on toss and catch, okay? You can do this a little further away. You can do this closer and try and understand how fast or slow you need to control the ball. And those don't require tennis rackets. Again, if you have a friend, you and your friend can do this across the driveway or, excuse me, across the basement, however you'd like. So now we're going to get into doing things that might require a racket. If you have a racquetball racket, that works too. Really, you could even get away with just using your hand on a lot of these things. So we want to learn how to control our hand and our tennis racket and the ball all at the same time. And we have to think about how the hand is an extension of our, the racket is an extension of our hand. So when I control the ball, I'm thinking about how my hand controls the racket. And we play a game called the racetrack, and we see how fast we can get the ball to spin around the tennis racket. We can go the opposite way. So we learn how to move the racket just a little bit so that it doesn't fall off, and so that we can learn how our hand really does all of the work, okay? So that's called the racetrack. The next one we do, very simple, it's called ups. So I'm gonna hit the ball up, let it bounce, and then try and catch it. Tap the ball up, let it bounce, try and catch it. Let it bounce, tap it up, try and catch it. Bounce, hit, catch. So as I do these, I can do even no bounce and try and control the ball this way. I don't want to hit it too hard because then it becomes really hard to control. We also can flip that over and we can practice dribbling the ball, kind of like a basketball player. I can switch hands and work on learning how to control it with both my right and my left hand. And you can be as creative as you want. You can use your start-finish lines to make a race out of it and see how fast you or a friend can get around an obstacle course, either bouncing the ball or balancing the ball on the top of the strings. You can do a whole number of things with that. So those are some ways that we learn how to gain control of our tennis racket. Now the next part that we have to talk about is not just the sending. Everyone thinks that playing tennis is about hitting the ball or sending it somewhere. But a lot of what we do depends on how well we receive the ball. So we're going to work on, again, with a partner or with a wall, learning how to control the ball by catching it like it's a baseball glove. So I can hit the ball to a wall and try and catch it with my tennis racket in hand. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I drop the ball, tap it forward, and try and catch it. If I get good at that, I can get rid of my left hand and try and just use my tennis racket to stop the ball. So learning how to control that racket and that ball at the same time And if I get really good, I can do this without letting the ball bounce at all. So using that glove just like a mitt, a baseball mitt. So I get good at those kinds of things. And then it becomes time to rally. So again, if you have a partner and you wanted to get a little bit further away from them, that's great. If you only have a wall or a garage door, if parents say it's okay, we want to learn how to control that ball and not hit it too hard so we can see how many in a row we can hit or how many minutes we can keep that going. A lot of tennis is not about how hard you hit, but how much control you have over this ball and this tennis racket. So those are a couple of things that you could do at home to learn how to play tennis. Very fun, very simple, and I'd love to get some feedback on what you guys have tried at your house to learn how to play this game. Thank you very much for watching this video. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.